Greetings, I am Dr. Vijay Shanti, Department of History, Fatima College, Madurai. Now I am going to give a topic on accounts of Marcopolo and Wasuf on Second Pandian Empire. Marcopolo, a merchant from Venice and adventurer, travelled from Europe to Asia in the year 1271 to 1295. As he was a medieval chronicler, he had visited Malabar in the last decade of 13th century through the Silk Road, and his recordings were mentioned in Divestment Dau Monde, that is description of the world. There he commented about the people of Pandian Empire, and he visited Malabar during the reign of Maravarman Kulasekara Pandya I. And he was an Italian merchant, explorer and writer, travelled through Asia. It's a different interesting story. He was lived here at Kublai Khan's, the Mongolian Empire ruler, Kublai Khan's royal court, and the Kublai Khan gave his daughter to the Persian ruler. On the way, Marcopolo started his journey with the bride to Persia from the capital of China in the year 1292. On his way of Persia, he halted at Shillong and toured to Tamil country. So he mentioned certain important features of the Tamil people who existed in the Tamil soil. He visited Malabar and interestingly he saw many features of Pandian Empire, and he stayed back here and gave the details on Second Pandian Empire. The accounts of Marcopolo. He mentioned about the king's royal court. He said the Pandian Empire ruled by Sundar Pandi Thevar along with his 5 brothers, and 1/10 of the pearls were paid to the king as royalty. Along with the pearls, the king possessed many treasures, and he mentioned there were 1,200 crores of gold deposited in the precious stores of the Pandya king. And he entered the kingdom of Tamil Pandyas near Tanjore, and he also saw other rulers of South India, and he also mentioned about the king. He beautified himself. The king wore a necklace entirely with the precious stones, rubies, sapphires and emeralds, and he wore 3 golden bracelets, anklets, rings on his toes. And he mentioned about the royal court. Royal court of the Pandian kingdom. The king had about 500 wives. When the king died, were also cremated along with him. And they were very strict in executing justice upon criminals. If a man awarded with a death penalty wished to sacrifice his life to the beloved deity, they gave a permission, and after the death of the criminal, the relatives performed funeral rituals with the joyful celebrations. And he also mentioned about the food habit of the people. The rice was cultivated and the wheat was not cultivated, and the people take both vegetarian and non-vegetarian foods. And the people have such a customs of applying cow dung on their houses to preserve hygiene in the houses, and they take a bath twice a day, and they used right hand only in eating, and they drank only from the drinking vessels for their own, and they won't touch others' vessels. And in Malabar there were never a tailor stitch a coat, for recently only they wore the coat. And in family they mentioned the custom of sati, and when a child was born, they mentioned the date and time and the moon's age when the baby was born. And he gives details about temples. They worshipped ox and not taken a beef. And during the festivals in the temples, the young girls sing a song and danced before the idols. They have a strong belief in astrology and he very much appreciated a pearl fishing of Pandyan Empire. He saw a very fine and great pearl found in Malabar. The pearls of Malabar sent to all over the world, and the pearl fishers proceeded mainly in the gulf between the island of Ceylon and the mainland. And the divers jumped into the water and dived to the bottom in the deep sea, and they have some astrological beginning. They went into the pearl fishing. And pearl fishing was done during the month of April till the middle of May, and that pearls having the market in all over the world, especially in the European countries. And he mentioned about a horse trade. As horses were not bred, a great part of the wealth of Pandya country spent in purchasing horses every year. The merchants of Wasuf, Hormuz, Zafar, Shukar and Aden collected great number of disseries and other horses. The king wanted to buy more than 2,000 horses every year for his brothers also. And he said there was people don't know how to manage the horses. So with the poor maintenance, the horses were died every year. So at the end of the year, they bought more number of horses by the ships. And he also mentioned about the Port Coil. It was a noble city and a great city, belonged to Ashad, the eldest of the 5 kings, and it was a port. The ships are coming from the west, from Hormuz, Qasis, Aden, Arabia, Ladan, and the horses sale was a main thing in the Coil port. And he brought a great enclosure of the people, and a great business was done in Coil was facilitated. And Wasuf, another person, came to the period of Pandya Empire and a contemporary of Marcopolo. He also gave a vast detail about the Pandya country, especially the horse trade. Wasuf, a Persian historian and a contemporary of Marcopolo, also describes about Malabar. His name Abdullah ibn Fazula of Siraj was known as Wasuf, and he wrote Tajiyutul Amsar wa Tajriyutul Asar, that is known as Tarif-e-Wasuf, his work. In his first 4 volumes mentioned, published in the year 1300 AD, the Pandya country was mentioned in Malabar, both Marcopolo and Wasuf. The meaning of Malabar in the Arabian word passage or ferry. And Wasuf describes the extension of Malabar from Kollam to Nellore, that is a present Quillan to Nilavar, and it corresponds the Coromandel coast. And he gave a clear picture about horse trade. And he said there was a matter of agreement that Malik-e-Islam Jamaluddin and the merchants should embark every year in the island of Qais and the land of Malabar 1,400 horses from all sides of Persia, Qatif, Laha, Bokharain, Hormuz and Kulkat. And the price of each horse fixed as 220 dinars of red gold. It's a strange thing. He give a explanation about the horse trade. The people were not known the art of growing horses. Instead of raw barley, they gave roasted barley, and the grain was dressed with butter and boiled cow's milk to drink, and they bound them with the 40 days in the staple with a rope, and they give good food for that. and without training they have to be ride on the horse like a demo on the Indian soldiers, and on these 40 days the energetic and efficient horses should become a lazy horses, and it was to be slow, weak and useless and stupid. In short, they all became wretched and good for nothing. Thus, therefore, a constant necessity of getting new horses annually, he mentioned about the Tamil people. So, we have to come to the conclusion, the accounts of both Marcopolo and Wasuf enable us to know the socio-economic condition of the 13th century Tamilagam. Thank you.